The sky over IV burned red, not from a sunset, but from the ships that hung in the atmosphere like metal vultures. Counselor stood on the observation tower and watched his world die. They had never known war. Their people communicated through gentle telepathy. They built cities that grew from living crystal. They wrote poetry about starlight and composed music that could make flowers bloom. They had no weapons. They had no armies. They had lived in peace for 10,000 years. Then the Dominion came. The first ship arrived 3 months ago. It simply appeared in orbit and sent a message. The message was short. This world now belongs to the Dominion. Surrender or die. They tried to talk. They tried to negotiate. They offered friendship and knowledge. They responded with fire. The bombardment started the next day. Cities turned to dust. Millions died in hours. The Council sent messages to every government in the galaxy. They begged for help. They offered everything they had. The responses were all the same. We cannot help you. Fighting the Dominion means war. We are sorry. Watched another explosion light up the horizon. That was the city of 500,000 people lived there. Now they were gone. He felt their deaths through the telepathic network. Brief moments of fear and pain, then silence. The network grew quieter every day. Behind him, his assistant approached. Her thoughts touched his mind before she spoke. They were filled with despair. Counselor, the southern continent has fallen. There are landing ground forces everywhere. Our people are hiding, but there is nowhere left to hide. Closed his eyes. His people were not fighters. They could not run fast. They could not survive in harsh places. They were scholars and artists and dreamers. They were gentle. The universe was not gentle in return. How long? He asked. 3 days, said quietly. Maybe 4, then they will reach this city, the last city. Looked at the communication console. They had sent thousands of messages. Every species in known space had heard their calls for help. None came. The Galactic Council met and discussed and did nothing. The great powers worried about their own borders. No one wanted to anger the Dominion. There is one thing we have not tried, said. Her thoughts carried a strange mixture of hope and fear. The old protocols, the ones from before the Council, the emergency frequencies that reach everywhere. You mean the open distress call? Asked. That has not been used in centuries. It would reach everyone, including species outside Council space. We are dying, Counselor. What do we have to lose? Thought about his wife. She died in the first attack. He thought about his children. They were hiding in the underground shelters with thousands of others. Those shelters would not save them. They did not take prisoners. They took worlds. Do it, he said. Send the call on all frequencies, every language, every channel. Someone out there must care. Move to the console. Her hands shook as she worked. The communication system was old but powerful. It could send a signal across half the galaxy. She programmed it to repeat forever or until someone turned it off. The message was simple. There was no time for complicated words, no time for poetry or diplomacy, just the truth. This is IV. We are dying. The Dominion is killing us. We have no weapons. We have no armies. We are a peaceful people. Anyone who can hear this message, please help us. We are dying, please, anyone. The signal went out. It scattered across space in every direction. It reached planets with names on every star chart. It reached stations in deep space. It reached ships traveling between stars. And it reached places that most species had forgotten about, places marked with warnings on old maps. For 3 days, nothing happened. They continued their attack. More cities fell. The telepathic network grew smaller and smaller. Soon there would be no one left to hear each other's thoughts. On the 4th day, sat in the council chamber. Only 12 counselors remained. The rest were dead. They sat in silence. There was nothing left to say. Outside, they could hear the sound of dropships landing. The enemy would be here in hours. Then the communication console made a sound. It was a response. Someone had answered their call. Rushed to the console. Her hands moved quickly over the controls. "Counselor, we have a response." The signal came from outside council space, from the quarantine zone. Every counselor looked up. The quarantine zones were places the Galactic Council avoided. They marked regions where dangerous species lived, species too violent or too strange to join civilized space. "What does it say?" asked. His heart's beat faster. Read the message. It was short, the translation was rough, the grammar was strange, but the meaning was clear. "Received, help coming, hold on." The council chamber exploded with telepathic noise. Everyone spoke at once. Questions and fears and hopes crashed together. Who answered? What species? Would they really come? "There is more," said. She looked frightened. "The signature on the message. I checked it against the old databases, the very old ones before the council, the ones with warnings." "What is it?" demanded. Turned to face him. Her face was pale. The message came from a species called humans, from a planet called Earth. "Counselor, there are warnings about them in every old record I can find. They call Earth a death world, a place where everything tries to kill everything else. The records say humans they are dangerous, very dangerous." "Dangerous?" another counselor said. "What does that mean?" "I do not know," admitted. "The records are old and incomplete. But every species that met humans wrote the same thing. They called them predators. They said humans do not stop fighting. They said humans come from a world that tried to kill them for millions of years and the humans won." The council chamber fell silent. What kind of species survived a world that tried to kill them? What kind of beings would answer a call for help from strangers? Looked out the window. Ships filled the sky. His people were dying. Whatever these humans were, they were coming. That had to be enough. "Send a response," he said. "Tell them we will hold on, tell them we are grateful, and tell them to hurry." The message went out into the dark. Somewhere in that darkness, something answered, something dangerous, something that scared even the old records. For the first time in months, felt something other than despair. He felt fear, but also hope. The humans were coming. Captain stood on the bridge of the Indomitable and stared at the star chart. The ship was 3 days from IV. Behind him, his crew worked at their stations. The bridge was quiet except for the soft beeping of computers and the hum of the engines. "Captain," Lieutenant said from the communication station, "we are receiving another message from the Galactic Council. They are ordering us to turn back." "How many is that now?" asked. 17 messages in the last 2 days, sir." They sound worried. Smiled without humor. They should be worried. They let an entire species die because they were too afraid to help. Now they are afraid of what we will do. The door to the bridge opened. Engineer walked in carrying a data pad. His uniform was covered in grease stains. "Captain, the engines are running at full power. We will reach IV on schedule. The weapons systems are ready. The Marines are ready. We are ready." "Good," said. "Show me that council message." The main screen flickered. An alien appeared. It looked like a tall insect with too many arms. Its voice was translated by the computer. "Human vessel Indomitable, this is council speaker. You must turn back immediately. The Dominion has claimed IV. If you interfere, it will be an act of war. The council cannot protect you. Your species is not part of the council. You have no authority in this matter. Please reconsider. They are too powerful. You will die." The message ended. The bridge crew looked at their captain. Took a deep breath. "Open a channel. Send this to the council." "Channel open, sir." "Council speaker, this is Captain of Earth Defense Force. We received a distress call. Someone asked for help. We are going to help them. We do not need your permission. We do not need your authority. And we are not afraid of the out." Close the channel. She looked at her captain with pride. "They will not like that answer, sir." "I do not care what they like," said. "How long until the other ships arrive?" "The Dauntless, Relentless, and Defiant will meet us at IV," reported. 4 ships total. 4 ships to fight an entire blockade. The numbers were not good, but humans had fought bad odds before. That was what they did best. The door opened again. Doctor entered with Sergeant, was the ship's medical officer, led the Marine detachment. They both looked serious. "Captain, we need to talk about this," said. "I have been reading everything we know about them. They are a peaceful species. They have no immune systems like ours. They cannot handle injuries well. They have never fought a war. If we get them off that planet, many will be traumatized." "Can you help them?" asked. "I will do my best, sir, but they are very different from us. What does not hurt us might kill them. What does not scare us might break their minds." Sergeant crossed his arms. He was a big man with scars on his face. "Captain, my Marines are ready to go down there and get those people out, but we need to know what we are fighting. What do we know about the—" Pulled up files on his data pad. "They are a military species. They have been conquering worlds for 200 years. They are strong. They have good weapons. They fight in large groups, but they have never fought humans before." "Why not?" asked. Answered, "Because the Council put Earth in a quarantine zone after first contact. They were afraid of us." "Why were they afraid?" asked. "We are not monsters." Looked uncomfortable. "I read the first contact reports, the ones the Council wrote about us. They say we come from a death world, a planet where survival is hard. They say humans are the only species that evolved from predators who hunted other predators. They say we have too much endurance. We heal too fast. We bond too easily with other species. We are too creative with violence. We scare them." The bridge fell silent. They all knew this. They knew other species looked at humans and saw something frightening, something that should not exist. Humans walked upright like civilized beings, but they had forward-facing eyes like hunters. They smiled with teeth meant for tearing meat. They could run for hours without stopping. They could survive injuries that would kill most species. They made friends with anything, even their food. And worst of all, they were clever. "Let them be afraid," said quietly. "They need us. That is all that matters." 2 days later, the Indomitable dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the system. Immediately, alarms sounded. "Contacts," shouted. 30 warships in orbit around IV. They are surrounding the planet." Leaned forward. "Are the other human ships here?" "Yes, sir. The Dauntless, Relentless, and Defiant are in formation with us." 4 human ships against 30 vessels. They had numbers, but numbers did not mean everything. "Open a channel to the fleet," ordered. The main screen changed. A commander appeared. It looked like a reptile crossed with a scorpion. Its armor was black and covered in spikes. Its voice was harsh and angry. "Human ship, this system belongs to the Dominion. Leave now or be destroyed." Stood up, he made sure they could see him clearly. He wanted them to see a human. He wanted them to remember this moment. "Commander, I am Captain. We are here for we will take them from this planet. You have 2 choices. You can leave now and live, or you can stay and die. Choose quickly." The commander made a sound like grinding metal. Laughter. 4 small ships dare to threaten the Dominion. You are either brave or stupid. I think you are stupid. We will crush you. Then we will find your home world and crush it too. "Last chance," said calmly. "Leave now." "No, you will die now." The ships moved into attack formation. 30 warships against 4. They expected an easy victory. Sat back in his command chair. "Send a message to all human ships. Tell them to remember training. Tell them to remember why we are here. Tell them to make Earth proud." "Message sent, sir." "Power up all weapons. Get your Marines ready for boarding actions." "Weapons hot, sir." "Marines ready, sir." Watched the ships approach. They moved in neat formations, very organized, very predictable. They had fought many battles against civilized species, species that fought with rules, species that surrendered when the odds were bad. They had never fought humans. "All ships," said into the comm. "Attack pattern Delta, make them regret this." The 4 human ships moved forward. They did not run. They did not try to escape. They charged straight at the fleet. The commander watched his screens with confusion. These humans were attacking. 4 ships attacking 30. It made no sense. Then the humans opened fire, and nothing made sense anymore. Human weapons hit harder than they should. Human ships moved faster than they should. Human tactics were not in any military database. They rammed enemy ships. They used debris as weapons. They fired at point-blank range where shields did not matter. They boarded enemy vessels and fought in the corridors. They had fought many species. They always won. But they had never fought predators before. They had never fought beings that treated death as just another obstacle. They had never fought a species that looked at impossible odds and smiled. The humans were not trying to win carefully. They were not trying to minimize losses. They were trying to hurt the as much as possible. They fought like cornered animals, like desperate prey, but also like hunters who enjoyed the chase. And that scared them more than anything. The warship destroyer's pride shook as another explosion tore through its hull. Commander Han held onto his command throne and watched his fleet die on the tactical screens. This was not supposed to happen. The humans only had 4 ships. He had 30. The Dominion always won. Always. But these humans did not fight like other species. Report, Han demanded. His tactical officer looked terrified. Sir, we have lost 12 ships. 8 more are badly damaged. The humans are not following any known battle tactics. They are ramming our vessels. They are using our own debris against us. One of their ships crashed into the Void Striker and both vessels exploded. The humans sacrificed a whole ship just to kill one of ours. Han could not believe it. No civilized species traded ships equally. You retreated when losses were too high. You protected your vessels. You did not throw them away like weapons. But these humans did not care about their own safety. They only cared about destroying the enemy. Sir, incoming transmission from one of the human ships. It is audio only. Play it, Han ordered. Sound filled the command center. It was not words. It was music, but not like any music Han had heard before. It was loud and aggressive. Drums pounded like war beats. Instruments screamed like dying animals. And human voices sang about death and glory and fighting until the end. What is this? Han asked. I think it is human war music, sir, the communications officer said. They are playing it on open channels. All our ships can hear it. The music continued. It was designed to frighten, to intimidate, to remind that humans enjoyed this. They enjoyed the battle. They were predators, and this was what predators did. Sir, 3 human ships are breaking off. They are heading toward Destroyer's Pride. They are going to ram us. Evasive maneuvers, Han shouted. Fire all weapons. The human ship Relentless came at them like a missile. Weapons fired, some hit. The human ship lost shields. Its hull cracked open. Atmosphere vented into space. But it did not stop. It kept coming. At the last second, the Relentless turned. It scraped along the side of Destroyer's Pride. The impact sent both ships spinning, but the Relentless had done something worse. It had opened a breach in the hull, and through that breach, something entered. Sir, we have intruders. Human soldiers are boarding us. Han felt cold fear. The Dominion had rules for space combat. When you lost, you surrendered. The enemy took your ship and you became a prisoner. It was civilized. But humans were not civilized. Send all security forces to the breach point, Han ordered. Kill the humans. On the lower decks, soldiers rushed to defend their ship. They carried plasma rifles and wore thick armor. They outnumbered the human intruders 5 to 1. They should have won easily. Sergeant was the first human through the breach. He wore powered armor that made him look even bigger than he was. His helmet had a skull painted on it. In his hands, he carried a weapon that fired metal slugs at supersonic speed. Simple, brutal, effective. Behind him came 20 more human Marines. They moved fast through the corridors. They did not hesitate. They did not show fear. They were hunting. The first group of soldiers appeared around a corner, 20 soldiers with plasma rifles. They fired immediately. The corridor filled with green energy bolts. The humans did not take cover. They charged forward into the fire. 2 Marines fell, but the others kept coming. They fired as they ran. The sound of human weapons was deafening in the metal corridors. Soldiers fell. Their armor could not stop the human bullets. A soldier tried to use his combat blade, grabbed the blade with one hand. His armored glove crushed the weapon. With his other hand, he struck in the face. The alien fell and did not get up. "Keep moving," shouted. "We need to reach their engine room." The Marines pushed forward. More soldiers appeared. The fighting was close and brutal. The humans fought like demons. They fought with guns until they ran out of bullets. Then they fought with blades. When their blades broke, they fought with their hands. They did not stop. They did not surrender. One Marine, a woman named, took a plasma bolt to the shoulder. It burned through her armor and melted her flesh. She screamed, but she did not fall down. She kept fighting. She killed 3 more soldiers before another Marine pulled her back for first aid. The soldiers began to panic. These humans should be dead. They had taken wounds that would kill any, but they kept fighting. How do you fight an enemy that refuses to die? On the bridge, Han watched his security forces fail. The humans were cutting through his ship like it was made of paper. They were heading for critical systems. If they reached the engine room, they could destroy the whole vessel. "Sir, should we evacuate the ship?" his first officer asked. Han wanted to say yes. He wanted to run, but the Dominion did not retreat. "No, send more soldiers, stop them." But there were no more soldiers. The humans had killed them all. And his remaining Marines reached the engine room. They placed explosive charges on the power core. The timer was set for 5 minutes. "All Marines fall back to the breach point," ordered. "We are leaving." The humans ran back through the corridors. Behind them, crew members fled in panic. The whole ship knew what was coming. The humans had planted bombs in the heart of the vessel. Was the last one out. He jumped through the breach back onto the Relentless. The human ship pulled away from Destroyer's Pride. 30 seconds, someone shouted. The human Marines gathered at the windows. They watched the warship. They had left 10 of their fellow Marines dead on that ship. The had killed them. Now they would pay. The Destroyer's Pride exploded. The power core detonated with enough force to tear the massive warship in half. The explosion was so bright it hurt to look at it. The human Marines cheered. They had won. They had traded 2 of their own for an entire enemy warship. In human terms, that was a victory. In terms, it was insanity. On his command throne, Han watched his remaining ships on the tactical display. Only 18 vessels left. The humans still had 3 ships fighting. Those ships were damaged. They were leaking air and radiation. But they were not stopping. "Sir, what are your orders?" his tactical officer asked. Han made a decision. It was not a brave decision. It was not an honorable decision. But it was a smart decision. "All ships retreat. Leave the system immediately." "But sir, the Dominion does not retreat." "The Dominion does not fight demons," Han said quietly. "Look at them. They are not soldiers, they are not warriors, they are predators. They enjoy this. They came here with 4 ships knowing they might die, and they do not care. How do you fight beings that do not fear death?" The fleet began to pull back. They moved away from IV. They moved away from the human ships. They jumped to faster-than-light speed and fled. On the bridge of the Indomitable, Captain watched the ships disappear from the tactical screen. His uniform was torn. Blood ran from a cut on his forehead. Smoke filled the bridge. Half his crew was injured, but they had won. "Open a channel to the planet," said. "Tell them we are here. Tell them they are safe now." Worked at her damaged console. "Channel open, sir." "People of IV, this is Captain of Earth. The fleet is gone. We are sending ships down to the surface. We will evacuate anyone who wants to leave. You are under human protection now. No one will hurt you again. You have our word." Far away, 3 ships that escaped the battle jumped out of faster-than-light near a Dominion command station. The crews were traumatized. They had fought many battles. They had conquered many worlds, but they had never fought anything like humans. Their report was simple and terrifying. "They do not stop. They do not retreat. They are not soldiers. They are predators, and they are coming." Counselor stood at the landing platform and watched the human ship descend. The vessel was ugly, with weapons fire, leaking smoke from a dozen holes. But it was the most beautiful thing he had ever seen. Behind him, thousands of waited. They were the survivors, the last of their kind on this world. The ship landed with a heavy thud, a ramp extended. A figure appeared at the top. Captain walked down slowly. His uniform was stained with blood. Not all of it was his. He looked tired. But when he saw he smiled. Approached carefully. He had seen humans in the old records, but seeing one in person was different. They looked almost gentle. Their faces could have been kind, but their eyes gave them away. Predator eyes, forward-facing, always watching, always calculating. Captain said. He bowed his head. "You came, you actually came." Returned the bow. "You called for help, we could not ignore that." He looked past at the gathered. "How many are left?" 300,000 on this continent. Maybe 2 million total across the planet. We had 10 billion before they came. His face hardened. "We will get everyone out that we can. My people are bringing down more ships. We have food, medicine, and shelter. You are safe now." "Why?" asked. The question had bothered him since the humans arrived. "Why did you help us? You do not know us. We cannot pay you. We have nothing to offer." Looked surprised. "You asked for help, that is enough. Where we come from, when someone is in trouble, you help them. It is that simple." Behind, more humans came down the ramp. One of them was a woman carrying medical equipment. Doctor approached with a gentle expression. "Counselor, I am doctor. I need to check your people for injuries. Many of them look hurt." Felt tears in his eyes. Did not cry often, but he could not help it. These humans had traveled across space to save strangers. They had fought a battle they could have lost, and now they were offering medical care and kindness. "Thank you," whispered. "Thank you." Over the next hours, human ships filled the sky. They landed everywhere. Human soldiers spread out across the last city, but they were not there to conquer. They were there to help. They distributed food. They set up medical stations. They found the hiding and brought them to the landing zones. Watched the humans work. They moved with purpose. They were efficient, but they were also gentle with When a child was afraid, a human soldier knelt down and made funny faces until the child laughed. When an elderly could not walk, a human carried them without being asked. "They are strange," said two. "The galaxy says humans are dangerous, but I see them giving medicine to our wounded. I see them playing with our children. I see them cry when they find bodies in the ruins. What kind of predators cry for strangers?" "The dangerous kind," said quietly. "The kind that makes allies into family." In the human command post, engineer worked on a problem. They had destroyed most of the planet's defense satellites. If they came back, they would be helpless again. "We need to build new defenses," said. He showed blueprints on a portable screen. "Look, we can use the wreckage from the ships. There is enough metal and equipment to make basic weapons platforms." Looked at the designs. "I do not understand these weapons. My people are not fighters." "Then we will teach you," said. "Not because we want you to fight, but because you should be able to defend yourselves. No one should ever make you feel helpless again." "Can we really learn?" asked. "We are not like humans. We are not strong or fast or aggressive." Smiled. "You do not need to be. Look at Earth animals. The rabbit is not strong, but it survives by being fast and clever. The porcupine is not aggressive, but nothing attacks it because of its spines. You can be peaceful and still be able to defend yourselves. That is what we want to teach you." Near the old city walls, a young named watched human pilots prepare their fighters. One pilot was checking her craft. She noticed watching and waved him over. "Want to see inside?" she asked. Nodded shyly. The pilot helped him climb into the cockpit. He looked at all the controls and screens. It was overwhelming. "How do you fly this?" asked. "Practice," the pilot said. "And a different way of thinking. Your people think like prey. You watch for danger. You find safe places. But to fly a fighter, you need to think like a predator. You need to be the danger." "I do not think I can be dangerous," said sadly. The pilot sat on the wing next to the cockpit. "You know what? The best predators do not look dangerous. They look harmless. That is their advantage. They look scary. They have armor and spikes and weapons. But you know what? We beat them. And we do not look scary at all, not until it is too late." Thought about that. Maybe being dangerous was not about looking scary. Maybe it was about being willing to fight when necessary. 3 days passed. The evacuation was going well. 500,000 were already on human transport ships heading to safe worlds. But then the sensors picked up something bad. Stood in the command post with and his officers. The display showed incoming ships. A lot of ships. "They are coming back," reported. 50 warships. They will be here in 6 hours. "Can we evacuate everyone in time?" asked. Shook his head. "No, we need at least 12 hours to get everyone off the planet." Crossed his arms. "Then we hold them off. My Marines can defend the city." "With what?" Doctor asked. "We have 300 Marines and some portable weapons. They have 50 warships and thousands of soldiers." "Then we make them pay for every meter of ground," said simply. Looked at his designs. If we had more time, we could have finished the defense systems, but 6 hours is not enough. Made a decision. We fight. We hold this city for as long as it takes to get everyone off the planet. Prepare defensive positions. Finish whatever weapons you can. Get the medical bay ready. We are going to have casualties." "Sir," said quietly, "even if we win, many of us will die. The odds are very bad." Smiled. "When have we ever cared about odds?" The humans prepared for battle. They set up weapons on the old city walls. They placed explosives in the streets. They created kill zones and fallback positions. They watched in amazement. These humans knew they might die, but they were not running. They were not afraid. Sergeant gathered his Marines. "Listen up. We are about to fight 50 ships with 300 soldiers. The smart move would be to leave, but we are not leaving. You know why? Because 3 million people are counting on us. Because we do not abandon those who need us. Because we are humans and this is what we do." The Marines checked their weapons. They smiled at each other. They made jokes about death. They acted like this was just another day, because for humans maybe it was. A young Marine named Minu wrote a letter to his family. He sealed it and gave it to the ship's computer to send if he died. In the letter, he explained that he was going to fight impossible odds, that he might not survive, but that he was proud to protect people who could not protect themselves, that this was what it meant to be human. When the ships appeared in the sky, the humans were ready. The battle for IV was about to begin, and the galaxy was about to learn another lesson about humanity. You do not threaten their adopted family. You do not attack those under their protection, because humans do not calculate odds. They do not think about survival. They think about one thing, making you regret it. The fleet arrived like a storm. 50 warships dropped out of faster-than-light travel and took position around IV. On the command ship, Fleet Commander studied the planet below. His orders were clear. Kill every human. Reclaim the world. Show the galaxy what happens when you defy the Dominion. Begin planetary bombardment, ordered. Destroy the human positions. But before the first shot was fired, something appeared on the sensors. Ships. Lots of ships. Coming out of faster-than-light speed all around the fleet. "Sir, we have contacts. New ships entering the system, 40 vessels." leaned forward. Identify them. The tactical officer checked the readings. Then he looked at his commander with fear. Sir, they are all human ships. The humans brought reinforcements. 40 human warships formed a sphere around the fleet. They had more ships, but not by much. And they had seen what 4 human ships could do. What would 40 do? A communication channel opened. A human voice spoke. It was translated into language. The voice was calm, almost friendly, but there was something underneath it, something cold and final. Fleet, this is Admiral of the Earth Defense Force. You have entered a system under human protection. You have attacked people we consider friends. You have killed people we were helping. You have one chance to live. Leave this system now. Leave space forever. If we see Dominion ships near any world again, we will consider it an act of war against Earth. Choose carefully. Felt anger rise in his chest. The Dominion did not take orders. The Dominion gave them. Human Admiral, you are outnumbered. We have 50 warships. You dare threaten us. I am not threatening you, said. His voice was still calm. I am offering you mercy. Take it or die. Those are your only choices. Cut the communication. All ships, attack formation. We will crush these humans and then destroy their home world. The fleet moved to attack, but they were wrong about one thing. They were not outnumbered. They were outmatched. The human ships did not wait for them to get organized. They attacked immediately. But this time, they did not charge recklessly. They did not sacrifice ships. They fought with precision and terrible efficiency. The human fleet had brought new weapons, missiles that traveled at faster than light speed, kinetic weapons that used the speed of the ship itself as a weapon, energy beams that cut through armor like it was paper, and something worse, something they had never seen. One human ship fired a strange device at the sun. The device entered the star and did something to it. A massive solar flare erupted. The flare was aimed. It washed over a dozen ships. Their shields failed. Their systems overloaded. The ships went dark and drifted helplessly. How, demanded, how do they control a star? His science officer looked terrified. They must have technology we do not understand, or they are insane enough to use weapons we would never dare to create. On Earth command ships, human crew members worked their stations with practiced ease. They had trained for this. They had prepared for every possibility, because humans were good at one thing above all else, learning from their enemies. After the first battle, human engineers had studied every piece of technology they captured. They learned how shields worked, how engines functioned, how sensors detected threats, and then they built weapons to counter all of it. Admiral watched the battle unfold on his tactical display. They were brave. They fought well. But they were fighting a species that had spent millions of years climbing to the top of the food chain on a death world. A species that saw obstacles and found solutions. A species that never gave up. Admiral, they are trying to break through to the planet, a tactical officer reported. 5 ships are making a run for the surface. Intercept them, ordered. Do not let them reach the surface. Our people are down there. 3 human ships moved to block the vessels. The battle was quick and brutal. 2 ships were destroyed. 1 was disabled. The other 2 turned back. On the surface of IV, the humans watched the sky light up with explosions. Each flash was a ship dying. Each streak of light was a weapon being fired. The battle was beautiful and terrible. Counselor stood with Captain on the city walls. Your people are dying up there, said. For us, for strangers. Not strangers, said. Friends, and humans protect their friends always. A child named Lyra tugged on Sergeant's armor. Will you win? She asked. Knelt down to her level, he smiled. Yes, we always win. You know why? Because we do not know how to lose. We just keep fighting until the other side gives up. In space, the battle reached its peak. The fleet was down to 30 ships. The human fleet had lost 5 vessels, but those 5 crews had ejected in escape pods. Humans did not abandon their people. Already, recovery ships were picking up survivors. Commander watched his fleet fall apart. The humans were not just winning, they were dominating. Every tactic failed. Every weapon was countered. It was like the humans had fought this battle 1,000 times before. "Sir, we have lost half our fleet. We must retreat." Wanted to refuse, but he was not stupid. All remaining ships withdraw, jump to emergency coordinates. The surviving ships fled. They jumped to faster-than-light speed and disappeared. The battle was over. The humans had won. But Admiral was not finished. He opened a channel, not to everyone, every ship in nearby space, every station, every planet. He broadcast on every frequency the galaxy used. "This is Admiral of Earth. Today the Dominion attacked a world under human protection. They failed. We are transmitting this message to make something clear to every species in the galaxy. If you need help, call us. If you are in danger, we will come. If you are facing extinction, we will fight for you. That is the human way. But also know this, if you attack our friends, we will not negotiate. We will not accept surrender. We will destroy you, completely. The people are under human protection. This protection is permanent. Any species that harms them will face Earth's full military power. This is not a threat, it is a promise." The message ended. Across the galaxy, species heard it. The peaceful ones felt hope. The aggressive ones felt fear. Earth had made itself clear. Humans were now the protectors of the weak, and the nightmare of the strong. On IV, the evacuation continued, but now it was different. They were not just fleeing, they were being saved. Human ships took them to safe worlds. Human engineers helped them build new homes. Human teachers showed them how to defend themselves. Sat within the command post. "What happens now?" the counselor asked. "Now we make sure this never happens again," said. "We will help your people settle on new worlds. We will teach you to defend yourselves. And we will be here if anyone threatens you. That is our promise." "Why do you do this?" asked again. "Why do humans care so much?" Thought about the question. On Earth, we have a saying, "No one left behind." It means we do not abandon people. We do not ignore calls for help. Maybe it is because Earth was hard for us. Maybe it is because we had to learn to work together to survive. Or maybe it is just who we are. We see someone in trouble and we cannot walk away. Entered the command post. She looked excited. "Captain, I have finished studying the human defense designs. With engineers' help, we can build them. We can learn to protect ourselves." "Good," said. "That is exactly what we want. We do not want you to depend on us forever. We want you to be strong enough to stand alone. But know that you will never be alone. Earth considers that to be friends, and humans do not abandon friends." Weeks later, the last was evacuated from IV. The planet was empty now, a tomb for billions, but the species survived. 3 million lived on new worlds. They were safe. They were protected. And they were learning. Young took his first flight lesson from human pilots. He was learning to think like a predator, not to hurt others, but to protect his people. Worked with human engineers. She was designing new ships, new defenses. She was learning to turn gentleness into strength. And signed a treaty with Earth, the Accords. It stated that and humans were allies, forever. It stated that any attack on one was an attack on both. It stated that humans would protect and would help humans understand the peaceful species of the galaxy. On Earth, people celebrated. They had saved an entire species. They had shown the galaxy that humans were not monsters. They were protectors. They were friends. They were the ones you called when hope was lost. In the Dominion, the military leaders met. They discussed the human problem. They had lost nearly 60 ships. They had been humiliated, but they had learned something important. Never attack anyone under human protection, because humans do not forgive, they do not forget, and they do not lose. Across the galaxy, species whispered the new truth. If you need help, call the humans. They will come. They will fight for you. They will die for you if necessary. But if you threaten their friends, pray they show mercy. because humans are the most dangerous species in the universe, not because they are strong, but because they care. And there is nothing more dangerous than someone fighting to protect those they love.